Well, now the latest on the Berlin Christmas market attack. German police have detained a Tunisian man that they suspect of being an accomplice of Anas Amri in last week's deadly rampage. Investigators found the 40-year-old man's number saved in Amri's cell phone, along with photos and voicemails sent by Amri within 10 minutes of the attack. Authorities have until tomorrow to determine whether the case against this man is strong enough to seek a formal arrest warrant. Joining me now, the founder and president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. Zuhdi, listen, this whole story continues to get even worse as we find out that Amri, where did he go? We've got a list. He went through Amsterdam, Netherlands, into Lyon, France, before winding up in Milan. I mean, he was traveling wherever he wanted to go, unfortunately, without being caught. Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can even say those countries have borders, and at some point the EU, how many of these do they need, from Charlie Hebdo in Paris to then Belgium? And that attack was the same cell, by the way, in 2015 that then committed an attack 4 months later, and they still didn't get their border situation fixed. Why? Because they're losing their national identity. They're not following jihadization. This jihadist, by the way, as is typical, Tom, we're finding out that he had many circles of influence. There is an Abu Wala Imam network that has had 20 over gone to Syria from that same cell, or not even cell, organism of influence, of Islamization, of jihadization that we're now knowing about. And this guy was in that group, but somehow was stopped monitoring in September while his roommate continued, and the German authorities knew about Abu Wala and the radicalization. So it is just a clinic in the failures of the security apparatus, and hopefully we don't need another one for them to wake up to what they need to fix.
Well, there was criticism before. I don't know what's your take on the professionalism of the security forces or the police departments or whatever it might be. When this guy was the most wanted man in Europe, they knew that he could be anywhere in Europe, and he wound up getting caught, as you know, by a simple accidental police stop that turned into a shootout in which he was killed.
Well, the professionalism is fantastic. I mean, the security apparatuses do the best they can with the tools they're given. But when political correctness prevents them from looking at jihadists, prevents them, Italy got him right away. Why? Because he was in prison there for 4 years. They booted him out, didn't really send him back to Tunisia, which is what they should have done. Here's a guy trying to get asylum from Tunisia, which was democratized, by the way, which makes no sense. But they got him because they knew he was a criminal. He had been arrested in Germany, had been arrested multiple times, was then quickly they put the pieces together. But political correctness, their multiculturalism, has been a suicidal operation where they're not following the ideas, they're simply following the tactic. And hopefully we'll do the same changes, which is to change from this mantra of countering violent extremism to countering Islamism, which allows us then to look at these cells and continue to monitor them and not take them off monitoring simply because they're no longer, quote unquote, violent.
What's your opinion about putting back together again the registry that's been in effect since 9/11, hasn't been used since 2011? Barack Obama has said strip it and throw it away before he leaves office. Is that something that should be put back together? Did it help?
It for a long time allowed us to track folks coming from other countries that don't have the same rights as citizens, but are here as visitors. And it's not a Muslim registry. We have to get it right. What are we talking about? We're talking about following individuals that come from certain countries and tracking them into a registry. We know far more about our registered citizens because of social security numbers, etc., than we do about visitors who come in and then disappear. Same thing with refugees. There was reports that we had refugees in the South and Louisiana, elsewhere, that 3 months later we had no clue where they were. So the registry is not Muslims. It's about tracking folks from certain countries, especially jihadist cauldrons, Islamic majority countries that are radicalized when they get here. We may not pick up on the radicalization, but if we followed them, we'd know quickly where they are if things go sour.
Well, and I know whenever you or I travel to Europe, they know where we are. They keep good track of us on that. So, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, thank you so much, Doctor. Good to see you.
Anytime. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.